I'm Ramsey, the loud one.
I'm Jesse, the short one.
Put us both into one, we are.
Lots of noise, always too fast, lots of laughs. Here's our podcast, the loud and short of it. Hi, and welcome to the loud and short of it.
I'm Ramsey, the loud one.
And I'm Jesse, the short one.
And this week we have October's monthly movie review. And since we can't go to the fucking movies, we've decided tis the season. We're each going to show our favorite scary movie.
Mm-hmm. Last month we got Tenet.
Yeah.
And that was exciting. We were like, oh, the movies are back. And then, no, that didn't happen. Not
a
even
classic
close.
September prank.
Yes.
Oh, man. So what do you want to get started with? You want to start with, let's tell them what our movies are.
Yeah, that's a good way to intro it. So mine, favorite scary movie, been for years now, The Strangers. I think I saw it almost when it came out.
Yeah,
so
2008.
Yeah, over a decade.
Oh, gross.
Of that being my favorite scary movie.
And yeah, mine is The Conjuring. It is, I love ghosts. I'm not afraid of fucking serial killers because I don't think they could actually get me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course. Well, I also don't think ghosts get me, so.
You don't know. You've never met a ghost.
You've never met a serial killer.
You don't know that.
Yeah, neither do you.
Neither of us know that, actually.
Okay, you want to get into it?
Yeah, you want to start with?
Let's do yours first.
Okay. Well, let me get to it.
Yeah, I just wanted to make you scroll.
All right. Now, you do the boring data stuff, and I'll do the fun facts.
I'm doing the boring data stuff for your movie.
Yeah, you're the boring data guy.
Okay. It got an 86 from critics.
It's about right.
Very good for a horror movie.
Me and my mom, I remember when she was like, there's a new scary movie out. We're like, oh, fuck yeah. She was like, oh, well, I was like, what did it get? She was like, 86%. We were like, that's insane because horror movies get shit on constantly, which they should.
Got an 83 from audience.
Too low.
Yeah, very low. Yeah. And then I'm going to go ahead and give it a 72.
Pussy.
Remarkably average.
Bullshit. Okay, yeah, that's fair. I have a lot of skin in the game. I'm giving it a 100.
A 100?
A 100%.
Oh, okay.
I love this movie. No flaws in it to me.
Not a single one?
It's all just scary as shit.
That's okay. If you're going off pure, it does scare you.
Yeah.
Ramsey the entire time, we watched both movies this past week.
Yeah.
And Ramsey the entire time we were watching it, he was like, what bothers me about this movie is that I'm not that scared now, but like in an hour when I need to sleep, I'm gonna be so spooky. That is
not what happened. So we watched them 2 nights in a row, and one night we watched them with all our roommates. And the first night we watched The Strangers, and I was like, I wasn't shitting at the movie, I wasn't doing anything because I just wanted to enjoy it. And then like at the end came, and everyone was freaked out, and I was like, this shit isn't scary. A serial killer shows up, I'm beating them up. And then we watched my movie, and I was like, uh-oh, now I'm the pussy. Oh,
okay.
Man.
More boring stuff. It made $319 million worldwide. Just crazy numbers.
It's nuts for a horror movie.
$41.9 million opening weekend.
I was glad to give my money to it.
With an easy little tiny budget of just $20 million, which most horror movies have that easy little budget.
Yeah, there's also one of those things where it's like you don't even think about how much the ad campaign costs. It's just like, no, they just fucking killed this one.
Yeah.
Just blew it out of the water. Now going into stuff that I like, little fun facts. This was the highest grossing original R-rated horror movie at the time.
That had one too many adjectives for it to be impressive. You're like, highest R-rated, that would have been cool. Highest R-rated horror would have been pretty cool. You add the original in, I don't know anymore.
Well, it's like you got to consider that's like not a sequel. So it's like Halloween 1, gangbusters. Halloween 2, even better.
That's fair. But doesn't The Conjuring still take place in the same world as the little doll?
This started that world.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this was number 1, and then that movie came on.
This was number 1.
Yeah.
Okay. Or you know.
Yeah, it was stuck in a bidding war for 20 years. This movie was 20 years in the making. I imagine
really?
It was. Yeah, the Ed and Lorraine Warren did a ton of like they were famous real ghost hunters, LOL. And I believe the rights to like their movies took for fucking ever for anyone to get like patted down and just be like, nope, this is it. Like we're taking and making it. Because like they were like involved in Amityville, like all the major hauntings across the U.S. And
gotcha.
They're the Avengers of ghost hunting. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is the first movie that James Wan, the director, directed without Lee Wannell. James Wan's first movie was Insidious.
I like
and
that he said
two.
that my facts that were just quick about the budget. He's like, those are nerd facts that no one cares about. And he's like, well, this director didn't co-sponsor with the other director for the first time.
See, buddy, I care about these.
Okay.
It's very cool, though. And then he made another one, and then he went on to make Aquaman. And thank God he's going back to horror, because Aquaman fucking sucked.
Would Aquaman have been better as a horror movie?
Yeah, 100%.
I think so.
Jaws,
too.
make it Jaws 5 or whatever the fuck. Would have been down for
But with
it.
the super strong
Yeah,
superhero ready to
shredded.
fight Jaws.
The movie's just 4 minutes long, him just ripping the shark in half.
I'd watch it. And I never watched Aquaman. So
Good call. All right, you want to get our takes?
yeah.
You go first. I want to see what you got.
You want me to? Okay, as long as then when we do Strangers, you just have to roast it
Yeah,
first.
for sure.
Okay, so I'm saying the things that I don't like about it first.
Okay.
Why does it start with the doll if it was the first one?
What do you mean?
It starts with a 2-minute short story about a doll, and then it's like,
Yeah.
that doll doesn't really matter, though. Don't pay any attention to that. And then it goes right back to the story.
It does matter a little bit later on. Remember when they're in the house and the Annabelle doll's unlocked? In the
No.
basement. This is boring as fuck, but
No, I don't remember this.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that does matter.
Okay.
But the thing is cool about that is like in the Conjuring movies, there's only been 2 of them, but the first like 10 minutes are like an offshoot to like be
Yeah.
like a cold open of like, ooh, scary stuff is happening, and then like instead of like how horror movies typically go, where it's like happy family, happy family, happy family, fuck, everything's going to shit.
Yeah.
The house is screaming at us. The second one they do Amityville for the first 10 minutes, and that one, to be fair, does not matter at all in that movie. But this one mattered.
I feel like it's kind of as cool as the fact that the MCU did the whole scenes after the movie ends, after the credits roll.
Yeah.
Except not at all, and at the beginning, and confusing as fuck.
Yeah.
It's the opposite of the cool thing.
My favorite thing that happens is like that shit runs and it does the Conjuring like credits crawl like Star Wars, and I'm like, I'm not a complex person. All of my shit is the exact same.
More things to shit on it for before I'll say anything nice about it. At one point, they bring up the fact that the mom is going to be the one that's possessed.
Yeah.
And they're like, she's going to kill her fucking children.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really cool. And I was like, wow, what psychological, scary thriller stuff that could be so intense. And then they just never address it. And they're like, no, but spooky ghost, spooky ghost, spooky ghost.
Yeah.
Like,
but she does get possessed.
yeah, but
she does try and kill
But
her
if it had
kids.
happened slower and like there was more like intense things between the kids not trusting their mom and everything, I just feel like it could have gotten
That's
dragged out
fair.
and been so much like creepier. Not like
Yeah.
spooky scary where you go but like
Yeah.
you feel a pit in your stomach of like, this is fucked.
See, I get that, but that's where I'll just be like, that's what Hereditary is, and I don't want to watch another Hereditary. I like this movie because it is the end. I said while we were watching the movie, I was like, I kind of hate the end of horror movies because they just become action movies where they're just like,
Yeah.
oh, cool stuff, cool stuff, cool stuff. But I mean, if you wanted to make like a fucking like Critics' Choice movie, definitely would have gone that route.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. I
Yeah.
mean, I'll say one good thing before I give my last negative review of this.
Okay.
If you are just like trying to make a scary movie, like the most base level of scary, this is a very scary movie, and not
Yeah.
just jump scares. It also just has creepy shit going on the
Yeah.
whole time. It's very scary.
Yeah. To be fair, my favorite scary movie is The Shining, but I did not want to sit and be depressed for 2.5 hours.
Okay, my last critique of this movie.
All right, as this movie's lawyer, I'm down for
way
it.
too in love with the ghost couple.
Fuck!
It makes it weird to watch it because the entire time Ramsey's behind you licking his lips, just like, I would love a piece to break off of that couple.
I was, we were sitting on the couch, and out of nowhere, we had like been drinking and shit. It was like 1 a.m. we were watching this movie, and we're just watching the movie. I see them both on there. I was like, "You see that guy?" Jesse's like, "Yeah." I was like, "I'd like to fuck him. I'd like to suck him off." Jesse's like
0 to 100.
Jesse just looks back at me and he looks at him. He's like, "That's not who I'd figure for you, but okay." That later revealed I was also in love with Vera Farmiga, specifically in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I got a feeling on it.
No, I respect it,
Yeah.
but it does draw away from the movie when instead of picturing as this scared couple that's helping people because
Yeah.
they feel the need, I'm just like, oh yeah, this is the hot action couple that's gonna fight the ghosts.
This is
They could have replaced it with Chris Hemsworth and Angelina Jolie, and I would have been like, yeah, this makes sense.
Yeah, then I wouldn't be horny for him. The sexy thing about the Conjuring ghost hunters, right there, like they look more like normal people.
That's fair.
They're attainable. Now let me.
That's all my negatives.
All your negatives.
I got some positives I can throw in after you give yours.
I would like to give some negatives about this movie. My 100%.
Okay.
One of the kids.
So
in
this
this
is
movie,
inside the zeros of the 100.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Nothing. No diamond is perfect. One of the kids in this movie is annoying as fuck. Every time she's on screen, it takes me out of it. I believe when we were watching the movie, I went, I hate this fucking kid. She's annoying as shit. She does this thing when she's like crying and she's like, "She wants to kill my family," and I was like, "Shut the fuck up." That's all I got.
Oh, that's the only negative?
Yeah, the rest of the family's wonderful.
I got another negative that you reminded me of.
What?
It took me into the 45-minute mark of this movie when the ghost couple says, "You and all of your daughters," and I went, "That's a fucking girl," and because there's a little kid in this that looks like a little boy, and it's like the 70s, and you're like, that's... No one would let their daughter get that haircut in the 70s. It's like, this isn't a thing. It threw me off.
One, I disagree. That is a very 70s person, but that is also the kid who I think is annoying as fuck.
Okay, well, that if they had just written that one off, it would have been a better movie.
I guess so.
Because the whole time, when they first said that, there was like a full minute in my head where it was just clocks turning. I was like, did they forget about the boy? Is he gone now? What happened to the boy? And then you were like, no, that's a girl, you idiot. And I was like, well. Should have made the movie better.
Yeah, I think one of my... Yeah, actually, keep going on your positives. I'm going to save mine for a second.
Okay, I'll here, I got a couple positives.
Okay.
I like how often they show the ghosts.
Me too.
It's the perfect amount.
I know.
Because there's a lot of horror movies now that have taken it to the extreme, and they're like, if we show it to you, then it's not scary anymore, which is kind of true. So they just never show it, and you're like, oh, that is fucking a huge letdown. I want to see what's so scary. And then other ones, they do show it to you, and you're like, not spooky no more.
Yeah,
I don't care.
It's over.
You're like, oh, I saw it. I could fight that. Or like once you see it, you're like, what are you gonna do?
The one thing is like it sucks because I feel like some movies will just be like, oh, you never get to see it, and then I'm like, dude, that's lazy as fuck from just like a special effects standpoint. Like y'all are like, oh, I'm good at camera work, but none of the other good parts of horror movies.
You can't even show it in the background. Like I'm not saying you need like a clear vision of it to pop up at any point, but like you can make it scary enough that it's in the shadows.
Yeah. I think one of my favorite things about this movie is that, like, the main ghost lady, like the demon, she fucking haunts my dreams. Like, her and the nun from the second one are both just, like, whenever I'm in my room alone, I'm like, that's what's going to get me.
Really?
Like, those are the ultimate scary things to me.
See, the scariest thing in this whole movie for me was just the scene with the girl with the slit wrists. Being like, she made me do it. She made me do it, and then she runs into the ghost assistant guy, and I was just like, one, kind of scary because that's just freaky as fuck and scary as hell. But then two, she hits him, and he like falls down.
She pushes.
And I was like, ghosts can push you? That makes them so much scarier. It's like that, and at no other point do the ghosts really fucking just go shoving.
Yeah,
and then that one just no superpowers at all, just bloody wrists and a push.
One thing I didn't like about the scene is like it was scary when she pushed him, but like whenever she walks over to him, if you like are seeing it for the 50th time and you like actually look at like her walk to him and you're like, she kind of just like flounces over to him like with not a lot of energy. She's like, I was like, what the fuck is this? Very scary.
Question: Does she have ghost strength? Like, is that why she didn't need to get a running start? Like, how does a ghost push work?
Every time a ghost dies, they either get scary or strong. This sweet suicidal maid had the strength of 10 men. Oh man.
Okay, you wanna round it out with all the good things you have to say about it?
Yes. One. Creature design, everything in this movie, 10. Just fucking awesome. Except for the slitless wrist made. Low energy on that one. Not a fan.
That's the other 0. 100.
Yeah. I think that one other good thing they do in this movie is they show like the family moving in. It's just one of the best songs ever, time of the season. And they show them all hanging out, and there's a dog that's just so cute. And then like 10 minutes later, the dog just fucking gets murdered. And it made me so happy because every time we're watching a movie, there's always some jackass going, "Oh, pretty dog," and then the dog gets killed. I was like, ha ha ha.
They do not leave that. They do not leave that one like. Yeah. Oh, I hope the dog survives to the very end.
There's also just no reason for the dog being killed. They're like, oh, the house is scary now, but they definitely didn't need to kill the dog to prove it was a scary house.
They didn't need to, but it definitely hit the point. I don't know of anything they could have done that would have been more like impactful. Just being like, "Oh, okay,
yeah, that's fair."
Because once the dog was just dead, you were like, "This is a haunted place."
Right.
It wasn't like he got ripped up by wolves or like something that could happen to a dog outside. It was just fucking neck slap.
It wasn't one of those where like, "Oh, maybe the ghost is just has unfinished business." It's like it's unfinished business is murder. all right, I'll give you that.
Yeah, I'm defending your movie now.
Yeah, I like how we're just playing lawyers to this movie. Overall, the scares are perfect. It's just one of those movies where, like, and we've talked about horror movies on the podcast before, and I've said it before, but, like, I fucking love when you love the characters. When you love the characters in this movie, because I love the family in this movie. They're fucking awesome.
Yeah.
They're like a big family, and I come from a big family. They play this game called Hide and Clap, where they're all, like, going around the house and shit, and, like, they feel like actual siblings. And I thought it was just cool as shit.
I also thought, especially for the time, it was reasonable, their belief in ghosts.
Yeah, definitely.
Like at no point were they like immediately the seconds in the creek they were like, must be ghosts. Yeah. And at no point when the ghosts were showing up were they like, because there's a lot of movies where like it's always the father will be like, it's not a ghost, even when like it's a fucking ghost.
Yeah.
Like, if that shit starts happening, you either need to check into a mental asylum or hire an exorcist to get to your fucking home. And the dad will always be like, no, it's just a draft. Shut the fuck up.
The dad comes home from like a trucking trip, and his wife's been assaulted by a ghost. The ghosts are hitting his daughters, and he's like, what the fuck is going on? And then they tell him, and he's like, yeah, okay. He's like, I guess. Like, I don't know what the fuck. But then the family's also has the perfect reaction of, we don't know what the fuck to do. They have no money. They tied up all their money in the house, and they're like, hold on, I'll go to the university and get the local Ghostbusters.
That might be the only unreasonable part of that movie is by the time that they're like, we have no money to move out, you just go homeless. The kind of shit that was happening. But then they do say moving out won't save you. The ghosts will follow you.
Yeah.
Which I don't understand how ghosts work.
But also, we were talking about it, and it was just like, we both came to the conclusion, like, you can't live in that house anymore.
Oh, yeah. No.
You're going to go fucking insane.
Oh, yeah. You're out of there.
Every time anything happened, I would be like, is this it? Do we have to fucking get the Ghostbusters back?
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, good movie.
100%.
You might have pulled me up a little bit with your amazing arguments.
Loved it.
Let's get into The Strangers.
Oh,
mine. The complete opposite movie, kind of.
Yeah.
No ghosts this
Not
time.
scary at all.
Mm-hmm.
Not scary at all.
Very fucking scary. But what's even scarier than the movie is the reviews.
What?
Critics, 48%.
Oh, that's fucking idiotic.
Audience, 48%. Apparently, no one liked this movie, which I was not aware of until I Googled that.
I'm going to hold off. I wanted to shit on this movie.
I was very
I'm
confused.
just angry at the world.
Very confused by those reviews. I'm giving it an 88.
Solid. That's lower than I thought, but I guess you're not a really big horror movie fan.
I mean, I like horror movies. Let me put it this way. I like horror movies. They don't usually scare me that much. So then I like them, but I won't give them 100s because I'm not scared. This is one of the scary movies that scares the fucking shit out of me. I feel uncomfortable for hours after this movie.
Yeah, that's fair.
So what are you giving it?
I'll give it a... I don't want to rate this one off my own personal opinion. I want to give it more... I feel like a solid 80.
Okay.
In my head, I was like, yeah, that's a C to me because I walked out. I was like, didn't care. But I think that's only because I don't like fucking serial killer movies.
Yeah.
But I'll give it an 80. It's very well done. These scores are fucking ridiculous.
I don't understand, but I'll get more into that later in the interesting facts section. Yeah. It made $82 million, so nowhere near The Conjuring, but still pretty good.
Yeah.
$10 million opening weekend, and the budget was only $9 million.
It did remarkably well for the type of movie it is.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Okay,
Sorry.
I'll dive into my interesting facts. The film, which I had no idea, entirely shot with a handheld camera.
That's what I thought was weird. That like it does not give off that vibe at all. It does well like with the. I feel like it doesn't feel super clean the way it's shot.
Yeah,
and that's actually really refreshing for the kind of movie it is. And like, I guess that kind of does make sense because a lot of scenes are like blurred out and weirded out of focus, but then it like comes into perfect focus. I don't know. The editing, at least on this movie, is incredible.
Yeah, and on the note of the editing, the whole thing was shot chronologically, which is just not how any movies are fucking done.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
That's probably made it way I bet this movie was shot super fast, too.
Apparently, they just went and they got all, like, the outdoor scenes at, like, one time, and, like, the site that they had picked out to film that outdoor house was, like, way better than I expected. They didn't expect there to be a barn and other stuff, and they just happened to find the perfect house and then got all that. And then the inside is all just a soundstage.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I think one of the things about that, too, is it probably was just so much cheaper and easier to film it chronologically because, like, you gotta think, like, there's no shirtless scenes. At one point, like, the couple both gets, like, ruffled up or whatever, and then that's kind of the rest of the movie. I feel like this is one of the movies that makes the most sense, especially, like, with consistency of the things happening in the house, like things getting knocked over and whatnot.
Yeah, the fireplace, all the small little things. I'm sure if you watched it, there's tons of, like, little things that you could see, and it wouldn't be wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
If you didn't film it that way, it would.
No.
Now, back to those audience scores. Not the critic scores, but the audience scores.
Okay.
I think it's bullshit, and they should get a retry. Because apparently when they sent the reel out to all the movie theaters, a bunch of them were fucked up, and the audio was missing in certain scenes, and it was just like weird static noises with the music.
That's sad.
So, but audiences didn't know. Like, it wasn't bad enough that, like, people could tell it was fucked up.
Yeah.
It was just, like, they thought it was, like, an artsy decision to, like, make it super hard to hear audio and whatnot in certain scenes.
I guess if there was a movie where I would think that, it's probably this movie.
Yeah, and if I was watching this and it did have that, I would be rating it super low too. Because I'd just be like, why the fuck was there stat? That doesn't make any sense.
Pretty sure we knocked 10 points off of Tenet just because it was like, oh, I'm the protagonist.
Exactly, but yeah, I haven't seen the movie with that static. I don't know how bad it was, but apparently it was a lot of movie theaters had that.
Oh, I have a fun fact about this movie.
Okay.
Do you want to know when I watched this movie?
No. Oh, yes.
Okay. Oh, my God. I was about to be like, pause the show. You're a dick.
No, don't tell me.
I watched a bootleg copy overseas in Jordan. It was one of the first movies I watched, like, with my cousins or whatever.
That's cool.
It was super fun.
No static in that one?
Honestly, it could have had static, but the thing is, we wouldn't have noticed because all the bootleg copies were dog shit.
Oh, yeah. You would have just blamed it on the bootleg.
Yeah, 100%. Give a fuck.
Which begs the question: how do you fuck it up that bad?
I have no clue. I want to know who distributed the shit.
Yeah. And then I got one more interesting fact, which I don't know if you would have noticed on your at least 2 viewings you've had.
Mm-hmm.
All the scenes in the beginning credits when they're headed out to that house,
the
houses that are passed on the street are all based off old horror movies.
Ooh.
There's like 4 or 5 of them that are like, this is the Halloween house, this is the Nightmare on Elm Street house, this is the blah, blah, blah house.
My mom would have I bet she knows each one of them because my mom's a crazy person like me. She'll watch, she loves houses and shit. She will watch horror movies over and over and over again just to be like, ooh, I love the layout of this house. Like, I want this done to my house. Damn, that's sick as fuck. I gotta rewatch that opening scene now.
She wants a house set up to be murdered in.
Hey, bro, if it looks clean, if it's fresh.
The one in The Strangers is a nice house.
It is. It's
a beautiful cabin vibe.
Yeah, very
the
modern
kitchen
70s
split
chic.
between the living room and the kitchen. This is an interior design podcast now.
I think my favorite accessory in that entire house was the shotgun on top of the library. Oh, man. All right.
With the bullets stored in a separate location. Very safe cabin to be in.
Shoebox. Oh, man. All right.
Okay, your negative takes first. Let's keep up the traditions we've recently begun.
All right. Now you when we went into this movie, you were like, all right, well, they do everything they possibly could. I fucking disagree.
Okay.
The dude in this movie did not do everything he could. You know why? Because he did not survive.
Yes.
There's a part in this movie where he goes and he finds the shotgun. And I did like that they did have a little moment where she was like, I thought he was like, I don't know how to use this thing. She's like, I thought you went hunting all the time with your dad. He's like, no, I didn't. I just said that. I was like, weird thing, but okay. That's very human.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it makes it obvious that he's not going to be good with the fucking gun.
And but the weirdest thing was that he ran into the closet and was like rummaging through shoe boxes for shotgun shells. This isn't really negative. I wanted to talk about it though. So in my head, one day, when him and his brother were kids, they went to their dad's shoe closet looking for Christmas presents and opened a shoebox full of shotgun shells. And then as an adult, he was like, well, there must be a shotgun here somewhere. And then he goes into the closet, and he's in the back of the closet, whatever the fuck. He has a shotgun aimed. He's like, I'm going to kill a stranger tonight. And his brother or friend, who cares? Biggest surprise of the movie, by the way, it's Dennis from It's Always Sunny. He walks in the house while the killer's put on the stereo blaring, and the dude blasts Dennis on accident.
His friend. He blasts his friend in the head.
Very sad. And then he's like, okay, I'm just going to give up on shotguns for the rest of my very short life. And that's why everyone dies in this movie.
He does not give up on shotguns forever. He gives up on shotguns for like 5 minutes, which is a reasonable thing after you murdered your best friend with one. Maybe. And then he picks it back up and tries to kill somebody outside.
Yeah.
And gets fucking
idiot.
Yeah.
Just stay in you've already done a horrible deed. Just stay in there.
But I feel like, and this is all horror movies, there's always like 8 moments where the main characters do the dumbest fucking thing possible.
Yeah.
This time, when they make the bad decision for him to go outside with the shotgun and to split up in any way, they only make that decision within 10 minutes after murdering their best friend.
That's
and
fair.
You're like, if I was in their shoes, I can't be like, why would you do that? I'm like, at that, there's no way you're going to stay reasonable right after that.
Yeah, that's fair. We'll see. If I was there, I just would not have killed my friend. If you walked in that room, I would have had the trigger discipline to not murder you, and then you would have helped me
I will
kill
say
these guys.
The worst character, who's not one of the main ones, that does make very bad decisions. If you're going into your friend's house, and you can tell something's wrong because there's spooky music playing and they're nowhere to be found, announce yourself. Do not creep in there and then poke your head around a corner. You're going to get your head blasted off either by the baddies or by your friend.
Now hold on. Let me take the lawyer pen and put it on. Now you say that you should go in there and fucking announce yourself, music's blaring. Now Dennis from It's Always Sunny walked into this creepy murder house and he saw music blaring. Things were awry. It's very obvious something bad was happening. He's like, why is music blaring? Now there were 2 options. When he walked into that room, him and his brother and his wife could have been fucking, or they could have been getting murder killed. I would not want anyone to know I was there. If someone potentially could be murder killing my brother in the house, he was probably going to sneak it. If there was a murder killer, he probably would have intervened. I don't know. I would at no point would I have thought Dennis would expect to get his fucking head blown off.
That's fair.
But
just feel like
it sucks.
Okay.
No, it's I liked it. I think
Got anything else other than the lack of shotgun usage?
Yeah, I think it's the beginning pisses me off again, where the dude is fucking the girl tells him, "Hey, something crazy's happening, something super fucked up's happening," and he's like, "Oh, I think you're being kind of crazy right now." I'm like, dude, every movie needs to stop doing this ever. I have a hard take from here on. If any of my friends are like, "There's a ghost in the house," I'm gonna be like, "I believe you, but we have to leave right now." I don't care if I believe them or not. Or if they're like, "Hey, someone might be trying to murder people," I'm gonna be like, okay, well, let's leave just in case. What's the worst case? They leave the house.
Fully agree. Let me put this pen back in.
Okay.
Agreed normally, and I know a lot of movies do this. This guy proposed to a lady. Lady said no. They had the most awkward 20 minutes of their fucking life where they almost had sex and then didn't, and they're sad as fuck, and then he's like, I have to fucking leave. I want to kill myself. And he leaves, and then 10 minutes after he leaves, she's calling him and being like, everything's fucking wrong. People are trying to kill me. And he comes back, and he's like, we just need to fucking go. Just stop being so fucking weird about it. And then I can see from his perspective
but they don't try and leave. He doesn't try and leave with her immediately. That would be my first instinct.
Yeah.
Let's get the fuck out of here. Now, does that make it a bad movie? No.
Yeah.
Does that make it a foolproof, stupid little bitch movie again? No.
That's fair. He should have just grabbed her and left. But I'll stick with my argument that if you had just proposed to somebody and then they said no, and then they were like, somebody's trying to kill me, you'd be hesitant at first. You'd be like, no, fuck off. I'm not going to feel bad for you right now.
I don't care if you said no to me. You don't want to be my wife. You don't get my protection.
Well, the second he's
Scott Speedman was in this movie just a complete fucking incel in the script.
I meant you wouldn't believe them right away, not that you wouldn't help once it was confirmed.
Yeah, maybe we'll see. I don't know what was going through his head. I will say I do like this movie. Mm-hmm. One of the last thing I'm going to say on it is that I think it's funny that our roommates were obviously fucking terrified because they wouldn't shut the fuck up during it. And like literally towards the end, they were trying to pick it apart. I went, no, shut up. Like, this movie's perfect. I'm sick of this. I wanted people to not talk during it, and that's rare for me. I usually don't care, but I did like this movie. This is probably the best slasher movie that isn't Halloween, Friday the 13th, or Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
In my eyes. And it's not even really a slasher movie.
That was my thing. And here's what one critic said. I had it written down. They said they didn't like it because the villains in it were fumbly instead of like trained killing machines like in other slasher movies. And I was like, that's made it
idiotic.
Good. I was like, that's what made it a good movie. It was like,
yeah, they're also not even that fumbly.
No, like they killed them pretty fucking well, but I don't. That's what made it more. That's what makes it scary for me is that the villains in this are believable as fuck. They're just fucking crazy people. Like if the Manson murders, like. Yeah. This felt like that could happen. You could be out of the cabin and 3 people decide to fucking murder you for no reason. They don't have superpowers. They're not fucking trained killers. They're just trying to actually murder you.
Yeah, I guess I've lost track. Have I gone through my good stuff in this episode?
No, you've only,
Let me go through it real quick. Terrifying. Great mask design. The reason is the best ever. At the end, she's like, why are you doing this? And like, I guess at the time, if I had no clue what this movie was, I could have been like, oh, maybe the husband hired them and he's not really dead or whatever. Yeah. But then like she just goes, because you were home. And I was like, ugh.
Apparently,
spooky.
The writer of this movie, when he was a little kid, some person came and knocked on his door and was like, hey, are you home? I'm looking for some random person, which is how this movie begins.
Tamara home?
And he goes, no, she doesn't live here. And then they fucked off. And then every house on the street that somebody didn't answer, they robbed it.
Oh.
And it's like nowhere near as scary. But like, that's where he got the initial idea, was like, just flip that and then murder.
So whenever it does that, I'd be like, yes, she is. Like, shotgun in the closet.
So I'll very quickly give my reasons for liking it. I think I basically already have.
Yeah.
I like it because the main characters are believable. The villains are believable.
Yeah.
It's got no fake spooky ghost stuff. The main characters try, in my opinion, everything correctly. I do the same things they do, and then they still end up dead.
Yeah, well.
And then lastly, I like it because if you were there, you would die.
Fuck no. I would get out of that unscathed. In fact, I'd run their fucking pockets. I'd make a profit off of this.
If I was in The Conjuring, I would have denied the existence of the ghost all the way up until it murdered me, and then I would have lost. It would have been over. And if you were in this, you would have ran outside and been like, I'll just fight them. And then they would have been like, oh, never mind. We won't kill them this way. And they would have just fucking run you over the truck.
Ah, it sucks.
Yeah. So you weren't going to win. They were going to beat you.
Hey, man, I'm not an idiot. I'm not going to charge out there.
Okay.
I'm going to hide in the closet with a shotgun. And if I kill you, sorry. I'm just going to keep waiting. I'll play the waiting game until I've killed 800 billion people. Oh, man. All in all.
There's a lot of shoe boxes filled with shotgun shells.
Oh, man. All in all, this was one of my favorite monthly movie reviews because I love horror movies. And these were the most because we kept taking turns arguing why the movies were good.
We need to do favorites more often.
Yeah, no kidding. I found myself defending mine and yours. So yeah, I can't be killed by serial killers. You
can't be killed by ghosts.
You can't be killed by ghosts.
We're invincible as a team.
We're perfect.
Back to back.
Dude, we're the fucking Ed Lorraine Warren. Oh man. All right. Well, so concludes October's fucking monthly movie review.
Yes, go watch both movies, especially if you haven't seen one or the other.
Oh yeah, 100%.
They're must-sees no matter what.
Definitely. What do we got next week?
Next week, we have a From the Ground Up on camping.
Ah, it's going to be very topical.
It's really about to be that season.
Yeah.
It's finally not 1,000 degrees outside.
Yeah, except in here. Yeah. All right, y'all. Thank you for listening.
Yep, thank you.